You may have been hearing a lot about it. It's the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate is a modern spiritual term for an astrological and a numerological alignment that peaks each year around August the 8th. It's not an ancient festival in the way some people do present it. There's so much hype built around the 8-8 Lionsgate theme that you'd actually think it was official as some kind of celebrated period of time. But instead, it's more of a contemporary blend of astrology, numerology, and metaphysical symbolism even, that's become popular over the years. And this episode looks at the breakdown of this 8-8 Lionsgate theme, and also your weekend horoscopes with all of the week's aspects really just happening from Friday onwards. I'm Charlie, an associate member of the American Federation of Astrologers and astrology reader for radio's Hall of Fame, The Bob and Sherry Show. This episode looks at exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, in air quotes, regarding this 8-8 date, and also what the weekend holds for your sign. So the Lion's Gate, which rhymes with 8-8, I mean, that's maybe a coincidence or not, I don't know, but it's an event that peaks on August 8th each year. But some say that the portal is open roughly from late July to mid-August. And before looking at what a portal is, let's look at what it is not. It is not a physical door. It's not a physical threshold of any kind. It's an energetic opening, like a temporary opening between two states, which is important to know because that makes it a lot more relatable to human life. It's the idea of just that you can go from this to that. And this portal of two different states is identity-based because we are talking about the Sun in Leo season during this 8-8 situation. And the Sun plus Leo, the Sun is the ruling planet of Leo, represents identity. So, simplified, it's just a time of necessary identity change. And the Lionsgate period is always seen as a time where communication, intuition, or manifestation is stronger. And that's because you have this chance to adjust with a little bit of hindsight. And really that's because you've completed 2/3 of the year with the final third of the year left. So it's the final trimester of the year. And I know trimester is commonly used in a 9-month span, specifically 9-month pregnancy time is where we hear it the most. But the final trimester, the final third of that growth of a human, can be seen as the moment where everything is forming in its final shape. It's when development speeds a little bit more towards completion, and when each choice influences the outcome of that development. And in a similar way, it's this point of the year where there is a third of the year left that can feel like a more concentrated push, much more concentrated towards bringing your intentions to life before the cycle of 365 days closes. It's where you really start to realize that the end of the year and the turn of a new year is closing in fast. So in astrology, the Lionsgate is just a concentrated energy window, a cosmic hotspot, if you will, for setting intentions, for meditation, for releasing, and for honing on new or developing existing opportunities. So the term portal is really used more poetically than technically. So it's just that this should be a very, very intentional reflection period, a time of focus. And the symbolism is strong enough to make this an ideal moment in the year for rituals, for self-reflection and transformation. We could do, 7-7 crab heaven, just to use the Cancer theme and something that rhymes with 7. Or we could do 5-5 the bull hive. But the reason for 8-8, the date is chosen for its numerology because 8 is associated with abundance and power and infinity if you flip that 8 on its side. The sun in Leo ties to themes of self-expression, courage, leadership, and heart-centered, identity-centered living. And where 8-8 is seen as like this double amplification of the number 8, it is linked to power and manifestation, making this time a metaphor for heightened energy flow between the physical and spiritual planes. Now, on the skeptical side of things, there is no scientific or traditional astrological rule that August 8th is any more energetic than other days. This is more of a modern spiritual creation that only really started gaining traction in the late 1990s to early 2000s, and it became a big, huge social media trend in the mid 2010s-ish. But to deny it based on its newness might not be correct, because evolution is just that. It's learning new things from experience. For example, we don't always go into physical shops for purchases now. We've evolved to doing things online for the sake of convenience. Or similarly, something like vitamin C, we know that it's not just about eating an orange when you've got the sniffles. It's this awareness that vitamin C is an antioxidant that's important for immune function and collagen production and skin health and wound healing. It's just something that we now have evolved to understand needs to be included consistently in the diet. So evolution of the Lion's Gate might just be the growing understanding that before the end of the year, before it creeps in fast and hard, we need a stop checkpoint, a point to just reflect, assess, and realign. So while it might not have any ancient roots, and it's a simple numerology-based development that we can repeat every month, 5-5, 6-6, 7-7, 8-8, 9-9, this particular one uncannily occurs as we enter the final third of the year. It occurs in Leo season, which is about identity, and it works very well as a personal recalibration moment for humans and the Earth. Now, it falls on the same day every year, and if you know the show, you know that I'm a big fan of degree analysis. So what degree meaning comes of the sun placement that happens 8th of August every single year. So the 8th of August is when the sun hovers at the 16th degree of Leo. It's just over halfway through Leo season, with 30 degrees as the total of the Leo sign. So the sun's trip is just over halfway. At 16 degrees of Leo, we have the following themes. This degree symbolizes stepping back and maybe even allowing something outside of the self to lead. This degree is about the acceptance of judgment, the willingness to accept some rules or a consensus decision. This degree is about fatigue and exhaustion, being too tired to continue in conflict. It represents a little bit of energy depletion that requires you to pause, and then that's what allows everything to sort itself out. It's a time for truce and reinvigoration, for natural resolution, so you allow quarrels and misunderstandings to settle without any force on your part. It's also a time of healthy boundaries. The degree meaning is about putting up a protective wall without retaliating. But most of all, in terms of the Sabian symbols in astrology, this degree is called the fresh start, where it's a time of course correction. So it's recognizing errors early enough in a problem to be able to change direction. So this isn't something where you miss out on an opportunity if you don't do some kind of ritual on August 8th, though it is highly beneficial to sit in reflection on that date and time. Your biggest growth is really just in changing your entire outlook moving forward as a whole from this day onwards. So for this weekend, you'll want to reflect on the major things going on in your life. And the horoscopes included at the end of this episode are going to be helpful in understanding the theme of change and course correction that you might be going through. But before getting to those, alongside the 8-8 course correction moment, we have a full moon in Aquarius on Saturday, which is in the degree of fatigue. So it does relate exactly to that Lionsgate energy this year, which is unusual because all the prior years, the full moon at this time has happened in different degrees, far, far away, and slightly different days. So the full moon is in that 16th degree of Aquarius, which is directly opposite the sun's 16th degree of Leo, where it's highlighting that time for change. So all of that jargon might even be confusing when I talk about degrees and their relationships to each other, but to water it down, it means that this full moon happens in the vicinity of this fresh start. And the full moon in the 16th degree specifically brings themes of protecting yourself from others. If you're sensitive or particularly intuitive, then you are especially open to negative thoughts or intentions. Not necessarily your own, but more so concerning the influence of others. So learning to guard against these helps keep your space and energy safe. You might be in the company of someone or in a situation this weekend, Saturday, maybe Sunday, where the company isn't the highest of quality for you. And it might just be someone else going through their own stuff and that radiates outward and impacts you. Or maybe it's a less evolved person that you are entangled with, or maybe even a group. It could be a group of less evolved people and you're in there, in the middle, in the thick of it. And in those moments, it's important to keep your boundaries firm, to engage only as much as you need to or choose to, and to not lose your cool. And just remember that it's weirdly this cosmic intention that this weekend holds a group scenario or an interaction that isn't going to be the smoothest. It isn't going to be your first choice, and it's certainly not going to be enjoyable. This is not about judgment. It's about self-preservation so that you can manage the weekend with your energy intact rather than drained. And so without any further hesitation, the most important part of this episode is the weekend horoscopes to help you prepare for anything ahead. And each horoscope is time-stamped below for your convenience. For Aries, this weekend horoscope is all about your partnership dynamics. They take on a more unpredictable tone, and you find yourself and your life and your routine shaken up. Maybe a partnership, a relationship challenges you. Maybe it leads to spontaneous plans or sudden adjustments and change in your agreements. Conversations may feel very charged and quite electric. And as a result, you and the other person may both decide to take a relationship in a kind of bold new direction. So there could be unexpected travel plans with a partner. There could be unexpected change of life plans with a partner. Or there's an offbeat introduction to somebody that leads to a new collaboration. I would expect a sudden conversation that generally shifts how you see your future, and this may be your future with another person. Do be careful of impulsive decisions in contracts and agreements. There is this push-pull between your personal goals and the demands of partnerships, where a partnership might not be fitting the view or the vision that you had in mind. And don't get me wrong, progress is definitely possible, but it comes through patience and consistent effort. So a partner's needs or a partner's approach to something may delay your personal plans as a byproduct. There may be this unspoken pressure to commit And if it's not in a relationship role, it may be in a work situation. These are responsibilities that you can't delegate for you and or a partner. And it does suggest slow but steady progress in a joint venture, so it's a battle worth fighting for. Mixed signals is kind of the main theme. So mixed signals in your relationships leaves you second guessing intentions. And it might not just be second guessing their intentions, it might be second guessing your own too. If boundaries blur, then of course misunderstandings follow. So as best possible, keep communication direct this weekend. Avoid reading between the lines unless you have facts to back it up. Use screenshots and text messages to explain why you feel or you're responding the way you are. The potential of powerful alliances growing from this point is huge. This is a chance for you and someone else to make bold moves towards shared goals. So a relationship reading might be your best bet if you are beginning to consider what a reading could do for you. A relationship reading is probably the best right now. And the details of those readings are in the show notes below. For Taurus, this weekend's intensity is all around your daily work and your income flow. These things happen to move more dynamically. And it's best when you find unconventional ways to boost your earnings. You get more in a quicker time frame, the weirder that it is. So it's the creative problem solving that improves your efficiency. It's the freelance projects that boost your income. It's the side hustles. It's using a different kind of tool or resource. And it's also very much so connected to your health and fitness too. So the more rapid progress you make in health and wellness for yourself, the more benefits you'll see in income. If there are hidden obstacles that slow your pace, it might be to do with outdated systems, so something that needs updating either literally or figuratively in terms of a mindset. It might come from a lack of support. It might come from personal doubts that creep in. And patience is essential with that. Don't push yourself past your limits. Delays come due to behind the scenes bureaucracy or a recurring health matter that you are not being disciplined on. So your best bets and your biggest strides are made when you cut back on commitments for the benefit of rest and recovery, because then you get more done more efficiently and it pays a lot in return. If there is confusion in workspace expectations, then clarify instructions before starting projects. Make sure everybody is on the same page. Otherwise, it'll be nothing but wasted effort. And again, health routines are what really need the most adjustment, especially if you're feeling drained. Strategic moves that bring you recognition and solidify your authority come from efforts to improve systems. And a system includes your health and wellness system, your time management system, simply arranging tomorrow the night before. And if you know that this is a big thing in your experience, then a 30-minute reading can help you identify the best kind of system based on the 6th house of your chart, anything going through it, and all of the rulerships to do with that area. Check that out in the reading notes below. For Gemini, the intensity sits around your creative input, output, and your romantic life. All of those things get a jolt of fresh energy. And it might just result in you taking more risks. It's a positive risk if you put your ideas out into the world. If you attract people, be aware that you're attracting people who mirror your adventurous spirit. So an unexpected romantic connection might be to do with a spontaneous, creative energy within you that is looking to take off. There is increased confidence in your self-expression. And you might get more of a courageous boost if you invite someone from the outside world into what is your normality. Sharing in the adventure benefits you the most. Balancing fun with obligations to friends and groups could be challenging. You might be asked to put some personal plans aside in order to meet a group responsibility. This could be cancelling a date with someone for a prior agreed obligation. This might just be you feeling torn between wanting to do things of personal joy and then some kind of group duty. And this might result in frustrations with your long-term goals and their pace. In general, the group dynamics feel unclear, especially if the roles aren't defined. So keep your expectations realistic in your friendships. There is the powerful desire for you to expand, to travel, to study. This deep creative mission is pushing you to act boldly. So it can be a time of transformative inspiration. And if you know that you are on the brink or the edge of creating something and stepping into a role that is quite possibly the biggest you've ever been in, a reading can help you define how to manage the personal life and the calling of your mission. I would go for something like the 30-minute reading or the 1-hour reading. Check out the readings menu in the show notes below. Cancer, some changes in the home life or with family, in your personal life with your comforts are sudden, but they open new possibilities. And if you're feeling that you don't have new possibilities opening, then that means you need to consciously change something in your home and family life to initiate this. Everything for you starts behind the scenes. So private conversations can help you make decisions that benefit your career or your living situation. If you invest in upgrading your home, then you will experience upgraded opportunities professionally. There may also be a solution hanging around in the air to a family issue. It could be the sudden urge to redecorate or rearrange if it's not specifically solving a family issue. It's just quiet progress on a private plan, showing how everything in the outside world for you starts with making sure it's okay at home. The career or public obligations that you have limit your personal time. You might feel pressure to maintain such a high standard with your work, and it makes it difficult to deal with home demands, which is probably why this weekend is all about starting from within your home life and then allowing that to stabilize your professional life. And in an exact situation, it could be anything from choosing between taking on extra overtime versus going to like a family event or a pre-agreed event. It might be a project deadline that's interfering with how you manage your home life. It might be authority figures that are questioning your availability. Or it's just learning patience in career progression and understanding how your success stems from your home. So clarity is essential when setting your career goals now, but you have more availability and potential to achieve high, very high prestigious career levels, more so than any other sign at this time. But you will not hit those levels unless you start from the root core, which is your home. Avoid making decisions based on wishful thinking or unclear promises. Tend to your shared resources, and that's not just resources you share in common with another person. Shared resources are your loans, your credit, your lines of credit, investments, inheritances. Strategic moves in making your home and your resource life pretty solid ricochets on so far into your professional life that minimal effort is needed for you to become the success that you know you're here to be. And so a 30-minute or 1-hour reading can help you identify what it is that needs to be done at home. Each fourth house of every individual Cancer is going to look slightly different. Some may need more luxury, some may need more minimalism, and that will lead to the best outcome in the outside world. Check out the readings menu in the show notes below. For Leo, the intensity this weekend is all about fresh ideas and new friendship groups that spark your curiosity, a new group or network that you've already joined or are seeking to join, or you're starting a fresh collaborative project that excites you, may result in a sudden invite to a group event, an unconventional approach to a local matter, or meeting someone brand new who helps you identify specifics in your goals, or maybe they help inspire bigger goals. There's a lot of rapid development for you in communications or media. And if you do have any travel or study plans, they may hit obstacles. There is a need to slow down, to refine details, and maybe put some stricter requirements on yourself before moving ahead. So delay a course or certification. You can pick it up later. A mentor that's setting you higher standards isn't being mean, they're pushing you to your capacity. Frustrations in travel logistics are just setting you where you need to be, and any legal or documentation holdups are going to be for your benefit. Information in general might be misleading, so do check facts and small print twice before you act upon them, especially if it does affect a legal matter. Some strategic communication with a partner or an ally secures a powerful agreement, and this is a good time for you to deepen cooperation. And if there are more than one of those things going on, if you do have a legal or paperwork thing going on, if there is freshness in education, a collaborative project, or you know that you're about to be reaching a broader audience, a private reading could help you identify the step-by-step process in that. A 30-minute reading or a 1-hour reading, check out the readings menu in the show notes below. For Virgo, the intensity of all the aspects this weekend point around career changes and breakthroughs that directly impact your income. So you may gain a very unusual opportunity that offers you a lot. You may adopt a bolder approach to finances, anything from a sudden job offer with better pay, a freelance project that brings you more income or some fast growth results, a leadership role that boosts your profile, or creative problem solving around money. Financial matters do require discipline, however, so you might need to make a tough call about some debt, some investments, like renegotiating payment terms or saying no to a risky expense, reassessing a mortgage, a credit agreement, a financial partnership, and limiting luxury spending to stay on track. Avoid any vague financial arrangements. Make sure you clarify terms in shared money matters before you commit. An intense focus on work does pay off in lasting ways, and improved systems or routines now lead to greater income stability. And if you're all the way in figuring out your money world, and if you know that you are so close to breaking a threshold financially, something that's going to set you up securely, and you need that extra piece of information that's available in your natal chart, then a 30-minute reading or a money blockage reading is perfect for you. Check out the readings menu in the show notes below. For Libra, the intensity this weekend is that your partnerships go through a phase where you or the other person may need a little bit more space or independence. It's not that the relationship is going stagnant, it's just in need of a fresh injection of energy. And if you and or the other person allow space for new experiences by spending some solo time, then the benefits and repairs or changes are so beautiful. So this might be an old routine that's replaced with spontaneous, fresh new plans, keeping excitement alive. This might be interest in how your relationship looks long term and trying something adventurous with a romantic or business partner and letting that adventure spruce things up. Tending to your home needs attention. Sometimes this leads to a relocation, but if relocation isn't on the cards, this is just general changes in your home. It might be landlord actions, property redevelopment, and this just works to force some home-based decisions sooner than expected. So maybe taking on unexpected home repair, maybe pressure to adjust your living situation and do so quickly. Some unclear expectations in partnerships make this kind of home-based decision-making tricky. Your creative and romantic life can get a boost through a connection that feels transformative. So going for this bold pursuit of joy instead of trying to be overly sensible can have the best lasting impact. And if you feel like some of this hits home, you might want to look into a 30-minute reading or a relationship reading that will take a look at all of this positive development and how quick it happens and how it might look as it happens. The astrology readings menu is in the show notes below. Scorpio, the intensity this weekend is about you finding faster, more efficient ways to handle work and personal routines. Using technology and using smart systems could help you clear out backlogs, can help you break away from long-standing habits. It can help you work in a way that's more beneficial and productive. A surge in productivity is always welcome. And implementing a tool that streamlines tasks for you allows you a high turnover in your work efforts. This is also consideration of successfully quitting a habit that you know drains your health or energy. If tensions surface with coworkers, employees, or relatives, then this might be based on an old project or something that needs rewriting, re-editing, just generally redoing, or just a fresh approach to meet current standards. So a critical conversation with a colleague might be to do with updating outdated material for accuracy, or it might be a scheduled change at work that causes friction. Work routines can generally feel foggy or disorganized, especially if expectations are not clear. So focus on tangible next steps rather than vague promises. And if you feel the heat and the pressure in your work life, that's because the potential is there for you to grow it in such a way that it fits your exact dream work life. And if you want to know how that looks based on your 6th and 10th house of the natal chart, how that relates to your income and what your biggest potential is, take a look at the readings menu in the show notes below. A 30-minute or 1-hour reading can get specific for your efficiency and your purpose. The intensity this weekend for Sagittarius is about connections. It's friends and networks and groups that bring an exciting boost to your social life, or it's just an exciting boost in your romantic life. The opportunities come from you collaborating, but you may behave like a collaboration carries an element of risk or unpredictability. So it's about allowing yourself to get excited with a collaborative collective project. It's joining a collective project. It's trying unconventional approaches to dating or investment, or saying yes to a spontaneous invite that has a lot of potential. You may also have to address a financial or property matter quickly in order to avoid loss. This might just be a repair, and the repair might be an expensive repair, and it forces you to prioritize your finances. So take urgent action on that repair, or take urgent action on a monetary issue. Pay for the necessary home or vehicle repairs and cut back elsewhere to protect your savings. Make sure you address this responsibility rather than neglect it. And with any ideas or exciting possibilities going forward, check the facts before you invest time or money in them. Make sure it's going to work for you. Maybe use AI as your friend to go through and use it as a reflection chamber to double check that you want to go into this pursuit without any clouded expectations. And finally, some communication or travel that's linked to siblings, neighbors, or close contacts could have a deep impact. So if you have a business project or something that you really want to know more about, it will be visible in your natal chart. If you have a romantic situation that you need more clarity on, it will be visible in your natal chart. Check out the readings menu in the show notes below. Pick a 30-minute, 1-hour reading or a relationship reading to get the most clarity. Capricorn, the intensity this weekend is around the career opportunities that come from embracing new methods and new tools at work. Your schedule is most likely quite lively rather than calm, but you may like that because it keeps you engaged and motivated. The benefit is in adding modern tools to improve your efficiency, to explore an innovative approach to a project, and this will result in you being recognized for a forward-thinking idea. When you adapt quickly to fast-paced demands because external pressures are pushing you to act maybe sometimes sooner than you would like, criticism about timing or progress does come and it may feel personal, but you choose to use that as a motivator instead of a deterrent. And you do this by responding to a tight deadline or taking charge of an unresolved issue and facing impatience from colleagues and clients, and you adjust the pace without sacrificing quality. Some unclear direction from family or home life or even maybe leadership in a professional way may cause you a moment of hesitation. So avoid committing to changes at home or professionally until you feel confident with the facts in place. A financial decision tied to your career carries lasting rewards. So the strategic moves that you make now strengthen both your income and stability. And if you feel like your professional life has this enormous potential, and if you feel like a financial decision is something you want a little bit more clarity with, check out the readings menu in the show notes below. Pick a 30-minute or a 1-hour reading to get specifics from your natal chart. The intensity of the weekend for Aquarius is that everyday life feels supercharged. There's more variety, more excitement, more social invitations, some surprise messages, opportunities. And you should pick out those that are most connected to your creative side. So a last-minute invite to an enjoyable event might spark some inspiration from someone within your community. There's an unexpected chance for you to share your ideas, leading to creative breakthroughs in a hobby or a project. And there might be a concern that you have that you're keeping private, possibly dealing with fears or worries that you just prefer not to share. Dealing with these in self-reflection can help you address the root of the issue. So this is spending the weekend quietly resolving a personal challenge, facing an old fear with patience, withholding plans until the timing feels right, and just allowing yourself time to think before acting. Be cautious of details in conversations or contracts. They might be a bit murky. Make sure you clarify before committing to anything. This is the weekend of a personal transformation that follows. You'll feel this for the next 6 months, and it comes from a deep discussion or negotiation, and it gives you more control over your direction. So if you want more information from your natal chart on what that 6 months transformation could look like, check out the readings menu in the show notes below. Pick a 30-minute or 1-hour reading for more clarity. The intensity this weekend for Pisces sits around technology and innovative methods. Getting comfortable with technology may improve how you manage your resources or your household finances. It's a great time for researching tools for budgeting or accounting, like setting up a streamlined money tracking system using one of those apps that tracks all of that stuff. Or it could be best for you to add security features to protect your assets, like 2-step verifications on your accounts, maybe even security features around your home, security cameras and such. Looking at adopting a new way of handling finances and using tech to simplify your expenses is key. You might feel isolated to some of the people around you. You feel like certain people who used to be available are just not available. And that's really just highlighting that this is a good moment for you to focus on building your self-sufficiency. Find alternative sources of support if you feel like somebody else isn't being supportive. This indicates a weekend and possibly a few more months of managing without the usual help or the usual input from others that you are used to, and is all for the point of you reassessing who you can count on. Financial matters really are the focus though, and financial matters can be very easily misinterpreted now. So avoid vague promises or unclear arrangements in loans, investments, and purchases, anything monetary, and be very mindful and open to a private or internal breakthrough that could help you release long-standing fears about the security of your resources. This is a time for very deep behind-the-scenes transformation. And if resources have been a big theme, then maybe a reading, a 30-minute reading or a money blockage reading could help by analyzing and pulling out the specific information from your natal chart. The readings menu is in the show notes below. And that is it for this episode. I will be back in a couple of days with the fresh episodes, maybe trying out a new individual sign format. And until then, bye.